Okay, let's look at this microbiome because this is something that did come up.
Yes. All right, so looking at the microbiome, this is where we start to get into that commensal microbiome. So each individual bacteria and their byproducts. So what I mean by byproducts, what we're seeing here, metabolic. So just like you and I go to the bathroom after we eat, so do these microbes, and this is what they eliminate. We refer to this as products of fermentation or short chain fatty acids, which are products of fermentation. And there's a lot of research going into what these different short chain fatty acids do. I'm going to speak to a couple of the more important ones. So butyrate is the ideal fuel source for colon cells. So let's talk about why that's important. Our colon is exposed to a lot of abrasion, right? We're eating foods, there's fibers, there's byproducts, there's a lot of different things that are constantly creating an abrasion to the gut lining. Because of that, think of it like our skin, right? Coming in contact with things all the time. Because of that, those cells reproduce at a very fast rate. You, conceptually speaking, almost have an entirely new intestinal tract every 7 to 10 days because those cells are turning over so fast. So you can deduce that requires a lot of fuel. Butyrate provides that fuel. So we want a robust amount of butyrate to support healthy cellular turnover, which means we have a healthy intestinal lining. Low butyrate contributes to not a healthy turnover, compromised intestinal lining, and we can deduce more than likely, since it's a product of bacterial fermentation, probably not enough good bugs, the bugs that are producing butyrate, which are our good important bacteria, and we'll see that in just a minute. Acetate and propionate, as you see here, this person's acetate was just barely high, just 0.7 above the limit. I really look at these rather than looking at them as individuals and chasing those individual markers. When I see dysfunction or imbalances in this particular section, it's more of a downstream problem. So I'm not thinking, oh, I need to fix this person's acetate. I'm thinking I need to fix this person's microbiome. And then the acetate and the butyrate and the beta-glucuronidase, those will come back. They figure themselves out. Yeah, they work themselves out.
It's like a large family.
Yeah.
And they're all trying to get along, right?
Yeah.
So you do the work.
Exactly.
In the big picture.
Yeah. It is worth mentioning beta-glucuronidase. Because this one is, it's creeping up there. It's right at the top end of the limit. Beta-glucuronidase is an enzyme. So in one of the phases of detoxification, the liver binds a protein called calcium D-glucarate to a toxin. I don't want to get too techie and lose you guys, so I'm going to keep this simple. Binds it to a toxin, we eliminate that toxin into the gut, and then normally we're supposed to eliminate it in the stool. Some of these, quote, toxins, things like hormones, for example, cholesterol, we might want to recycle. We actually want to absorb them, reabsorb them, recycle them, in other words. So beta-glucuronidase helps us do that. It's an enzyme that cleaves that calcium D-glucarate and, quote, toxin bond, and allows that, quote, toxin, again, in this case, it might be a hormone, it might be cholesterol, something we want to reabsorb, allows it to be healthfully reabsorbed. However, when beta-glucuronidase is elevated, we're going to start reabsorbing too many toxins. So that would be like taking out the trash, looking in the dumpster, seeing that it's full, and saying, that's okay, I'll throw it in my living room instead. Not very sustainable.
This is a complex one.
Yeah.
So what does it look like for the patient?
Good question. I'm really glad you brought it back to that.
So they've got a bunch of trash in their living room. How does that feel?
It feels like hormone imbalance. It feels like bloating. It feels like water retention, fogginess, heavy, tired, inability to lose weight. That's what we're looking at when we see this.
Like,
it's a
so
toxic
it feels like many of us.
Feels like you're toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's an important one.
It's an important one.
Dump the trash. Don't put it back in your living room.
Yep, exactly.